Food allergies affect around 12 million Americans, and their reactions can be dangerous and even life-threatening. How well are school children and college students managing their food allergies? The University of Michigan Health System has been studying that question.
The overall question that these studies were attempting to address is preparedness of the food allergic individual to deal with a reaction that occurs in whatever environment that they're in. Specifically, we wanted to see how well these individuals were prepared in terms of emergency medication, in terms of notifying others around them that they are food allergic and taking steps to address what measures need to be taken to protect them. In our study of the college students, it focused on one large university population. One of the immediate points that was discovered was that only 50% of the individuals who reported that they had a food allergy were actually always avoiding the foods to which they identified themselves as allergic. Among the college students, it was somewhat surprising that only 43% who identified themselves as food allergic could verify that they had in their possession an emergency medication to treat a reaction. What was even more surprising was that only about 20% had self-injectable epinephrine available to treat a reaction, which is what most allergists will recommend as the most efficient way to treat a reaction, as potentially life-saving in certain circumstances. Overall, this study indicated that there was a high degree of unnecessary risk being taken. The ultimate take-home message that I have for these college students is to try to minimize as much risk as possible, be it by notifying others that you have a food allergy, be it by notifying health services that you are potentially at risk for a severe food allergy, or be it by carrying your medication with you at all times. One of our other studies addressed specifically peanut and tree nut allergies within a school population in an attempt to re-examine reactions that occur at school. This population was exclusively drawn from members of the Food Allergy and Anaphylaxis Network and visitors to their website. Specifically, we found that 43% of these school-aged children have had at least one reaction at school. One of the most salient findings of this study of school-aged children was that schools and facilities that had nurses on staff full-time provided safer environments. We found statistically significant differences in the amount of children who had allergy action plans on file, whose plans were followed when there was a reaction, and there were also significantly higher percentage of children at these schools with nurses who had self-injectable epinephrine available for treatment. Overall, I think this study of school-aged children indicates that we are doing a better job of taking the allergy seriously. However, there is lots of work to be done. I think one of the major issues to address would be that epinephrine needs to be used in these reactions. I think underutilization of epinephrine is predisposing these children for possibly more severe reactions that result from either delay in treatment or absence of treatment.